Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishikam Vitam Sya Om Jnana Timrandasya Gyanajana Shalakya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhishtam Supurakam Guruganarasisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasthaveda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyad Bhagavad Prem Noe Bija Pranam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavananam Balar Kashilanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Banditam Shubharam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishwara Shridaram Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patita Nam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pranayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurachavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. So we're on Madhya-lila chapter 19. The Lord instructs Srila Rupa Goswami, text number 151. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadipai Bhakti Lata Bij. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service.
Where is this verse from, Maharaj? Is this from Srimad Bhagavatam?
What?
Where is this verse from?
The Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's Bengali. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadipai Bhakti Lata Bij. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. When we speak of Brahmanda, we refer to the whole universe, or to the cluster of many millions of universes. In all the universes there are innumerable planets, and there are innumerable living entities upon those planets, in the air, on land, and in the water. There are millions and trillions of living entities everywhere, and they are engaged by Maya in suffering and enjoying the results of their fruitive activity, life after life. This is the position of the materially conditioned living entities. Out of many of these living entities, one who is actually fortunate, Bhagavan, comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master by Krishna's mercy. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, and if one desires something, Krishna fulfills one's desire. If the living entity by chance or fortune comes in contact with the Krishna consciousness movement and wishes to associate with that movement, Krishna, who is situated in everyone's heart, gives him the chance to meet a bona fide spiritual master. This is called Guru Krishna Prasad. Krishna is prepared to bestow his mercy upon all living entities, and as soon as the living entity desires the Lord's mercy, the Lord immediately gives him an opportunity to meet a bona fide spiritual master. Such a fortunate person is fortified by both Krishna and the spiritual master. He is helped from within by Krishna and from without by the spiritual master. Both are prepared to help the sincere living being become free from material bondage. How one can become this fortunate can be seen in the life of Srila Narad Muni. In his previous life, he was born of a maidservant. Although he was not born into a prestigious position, his mother was fortunately engaged in rendering service to some Vaishnavas. When these Vaishnavas were resting during the Chaturmasya period, the boy Narada took the opportunity to engage in their service. Taking compassion upon the boy, the Vaishnavas offered him the remnants of their food. By serving these Vaishnavas and obeying their orders, the boy became the object of their sympathy, and by the Vaishnavas' unknown mercy, he gradually became a pure devotee. In the next life, he was Narad Muni, the most exalted of Vaishnavas and the most important guru and acharya of Vaishnavas. Following in the footsteps of Narad Muni, this Krishna consciousness movement is rendering service to humanity by giving everyone a chance to come in contact with Krishna. If one is fortunate, one becomes immediately related with this movement. Then, by the grace of Krishna, one's life becomes successful. Everyone has dormant Krishna bhakti, love for Krishna, and in the association of good devotees, that love is revealed. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi Shravanadi Shuddha Chite Koraye Udoi. Dormant devotional service to Krishna is within everyone. Simply by associating with devotees, hearing their good instructions, and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one awakens one's dormant love for Krishna. In this way, one acquires the seed of devotional service. Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti-lila Bij. Malihoya Kore Se Bija Ropan Shravana Kirtana Jali Koraye Sechan. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, one should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in one's heart. If one waters the seed gradually by the process of Shravanam and Kirtan, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. Upajiya Bore Lata Brahmanda Bedi Jai Viraja Brahmalok Bedi Paravyoma Pai. As one waters the Bhakti-lila Bij, the seed sprouts, and the creeper gradually grows to the point where it penetrates the walls of this universe and goes beyond the Viraja river, lying between the spiritual world and the material world. It attains Brahmaloka, the Brahman effulgence, and penetrating through that stratum, it reaches the spiritual sky and the spiritual planet Goloka Vrindaban. Tabe Jai Tad Upari Goloka Vrindavan Krishna Charana Kopa Brikke Kore Arohan. Being situated in one's heart and being watered by Shravana Kirtana, the bhakti creeper grows more and more. In this way, it attains the shelter of the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna, who is eternally situated in the planet known as Goloka Vrindaban, in the topmost region of the spiritual sky. Tahan Vishtarita Haya Fale Prema Val Ihan Mole Seche Nitya Shravanadi Jal. Tahan Vishtarita Haya Fale Prema Val Ihan Male Seche Nitya Shravanadi Jal. The creeper gradually expands in the Goloka Vrindaban planet, and there it produces the fruit of love for Krishna. Although remaining in the material world, the gardener regularly sprinkles the creeper with the water of hearing and chanting. So creepers, in this case, is like a vine, and it takes shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So as we've seen, a vine will wrap itself around a tree. So in this case, the tree is compared to Krishna's lotus feet. The creeper gradually expands to the Goloka Vrindaban planet, or in the Goloka Vrindaban, and there it produces the fruit of love for Krishna. Although remaining in the material world, the gardener regularly sprinkles the creeper with the water of hearing and chanting. Jadi Vaishnava Parad Ute Hati Mata Upade Ba Chinde Tara Suke Jai Pata. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper are dried up. Tate male jatna kore kore abaran aparada hastir jajena hoy udgam. The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of offenses may not enter. So these offenses, the mad elephant, is compared to offending a Vaishnava, is offending a Vaishnava. One should be very careful, because that is the one way of stunting one's progress, is by committing a Vaishnava aparad, or offending the Vaishnavas. Kintu jadi latara sange ute upashaka bhukti mukti bhansha jata asankhya taraleka. Sometimes unwanted creepers, such as the creepers of desires for material enjoyment and liberation from the material world, grow along with the creeper of devotional service. The varieties of such unwanted creepers are unlimited. So here, when it says some unwanted creepers, we can use the words weeds. Sometimes unwanted weeds, such as the weeds of desires for material enjoyment and liberation from the material world, grow along with the creeper of devotional service. The varieties of such unwanted creepers are unlimited. So for a person who has kept a garden, one understands that one may plant different plants within the garden, but at the same time, although the garden, the acreage may be small, still that garden can produce a lot of fruit and a lot of vegetables. But along with the plants, many weeds will grow. And if one isn't careful to uproot these weeds, they'll take away all the nutrition that's going to the plant. So one has to be very diligent to get rid of all the weeds that are growing along with the plants. So, kintu jadi latara sangyute upashaka bhukti mukti bhansha jata asankyatara leka. So upashaka, these are weeds. Sometimes unwanted weeds, such as weeds of desires for material enjoyment and liberation from the material world, grow along with the creeper of devotional service. The variety of such weeds are unlimited. So many weeds can grow, all kinds of material desires and mental material desires, desire for enjoyment, desire for liberation, desire for knowledge. Nishida char kutinati jiva himsana labda puja pratishtadi jata upasakagan. Some unnecessary creepers, or some weeds growing with the bhakti creeper, are the weeds of behavior unacceptable for those trying to attain perfection, diplomatic behavior, animal killing, mundane profiteering, mundane adoration, and mundane importance. all these are unwanted weeds. So Nishidachar is here. Nishidachar is behavior not to be exhibited by a person desiring to become perfect. So very mundane behavior, we'll see that sometimes. That's considered a weed. Then kutinati. Diplomatic behavior or diplomacy. We always heard Srila Govinda Maharaj refer to Sharo Vaishnav. Sharo Vaishnav means a simple Vaishnav. So he would use the word in two different ways. Sometimes he would say that praise a person as being a Sharo Vaishnav, as being a simple Vaishnav, and that's indicated here by this word kutinati, when it's not meant to be so diplomatic or complicated or very two-faced, kutinati. Sometimes though Srila Govinda Maharaj would use the word Sharo Vaishnav to indicate that somebody was overly simple and being like a little bit of a foolish person. So on the one hand, one is not meant to be diplomatic, but one should also not play into the hands of other persons who are trying to take advantage of the devotees. So, but here we hear the word kutinati. One should not be diplomatic. Then jiva himsana. Jiva himsana refers to committing violence to jivas. Now, this can be said in relationship to unnecessarily killing animals. For instance, meat eating could be considered as jiva himsa. But also another meaning of jiva himsa is the killer of one's own soul and being completely negligent about one's own spiritual progress. Then labdha. Labdha means like greed. Here is mentioned, labdha, profit according to material calculations. Just so much endeavor for something mundane. And puja means the desire for name and fame. Puja here refers, it says, adoration achieved by satisfying mundane people. Let's see, here in puja, the desire to be worshipped. And then we also have pratishta. Pratishta means desire for name and fame. So all these things are considered to be not compatible with the advancement in devotional service. So read the purport. There is a certain pattern of behavior prescribed for those actually trying to become perfect. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we advise our students not to eat meat, not to gamble, not to engage in illicit sex, and not to indulge in intoxication. People who indulge in these activities can never become perfect. Therefore, these regulative principles are for those interested in becoming perfect and going back to Godhead. Kutinati, or diplomatic behavior, cannot satisfy the Atma, the soul. It cannot even satisfy the body or the mind. The culprit mind is always suspicious. Therefore, our dealings should always be straightforward and approved by Vedic authorities. If we treat people diplomatically or duplicitously, our spiritual advancement is obstructed. Jiva himsana refers to the killing of animals or to envy of other living entities. The killing of poor animals is undoubtedly due to envy of those animals. The human form is meant for the understanding of Krishna consciousness. atato Brahma jigyasa, for inquiring about the Supreme Brahman. In the human form, everyone has a chance to understand the Supreme Brahman. The so-called leaders of human society do not know the real aim of human life and are therefore busy with economic development. This is misleading. Every state and every society is busy trying to improve the quality of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. This human form of life is meant for more than these four animal principles. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending are problems found in the animal kingdom, and the animals have solved their problems without difficulty. Why should human society be so busy trying to solve these problems? The difficulty is that people are not educated to understand this simple philosophy. They think that advancement of civilization means increasing sense gratification. There are many religious propagandists who do not know how the ultimate problems of life can be solved, and they also try to educate people in a form of sense gratification. This is also jiva himsana. Real knowledge is not given, and religionists mislead the general populace. As far as material profits are concerned, one should know that whatever material profit one has must be abandoned at the time of death. Unfortunately, people do not know that there is life after death. Therefore, mundane people waste their time amassing material profit, which has to be left behind at the time of death. Such profit has no eternal benefit. Similarly, adoration by mundane people is valueless, because after death one has to accept another body. Material adoration and titles are decorations that cannot be carried over to the next body. In the next life, everything is forgotten. All these obstructions have been described in this verse as unwanted creepers or weeds. They simply present obstacles for the real creeper, the Bhakti-lata. One should be very careful to avoid all these unwanted things. Sometimes these sometimes these unwanted creepers or weeds look exactly like the Bhakti-lata creeper. They appear to be of the same size and the same species when they are packed together with the Bhakti-lata creeper. But in spite of this, these creepers are called upashaka, weeds. A pure devotee can distinguish between the Bhakti-lata creeper and weeds, and one is very alert. One should be very alert to distinguish them and keep them separate. Sekajala paya upashaka borijai stabdahaya mulasaka baritena pai. If one does not distinguish between the Bhakti-lata creeper and these weeds, the sprinkling of water is misused because the weeds are nourished while the Bhakti-lata creeper is curtailed. Pratame upashakar koraye chedan tabe mula shaka bari jai Vrindaban. As soon as an intelligent devotee sees weeds growing besides the original creeper, one must cut it down. One must cut down the weed instantly. Then the real creeper, the Bhakti-lata, grows nicely, returns home, back to God, and seeks shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna. So ultimately, we want to uproot all the weeds so that they won't take any nutrition away from the Bhakti-lata creeper. Prema phala paki pare male ashvadoi lata avalambi mali kapavrikapai. When the fruit of devotional service becomes ripe and falls down, the gardener tastes the fruit and thus takes advantage of the creeper and reaches the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. When the fruit of devotional service becomes ripe and falls down, the gardener tastes the fruit and thus takes advantage of the creeper and reaches the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna in Goloka Vrindaban. Ihanse kalpa vrikkara koreye sevan, suke prima phala rasa kore ashvadan. So ultimately, the Bhakti-lila beads, the creeper of devotional service, is meant to reach the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna. It will take shelter of that tree, just as a creeper or a vine will take shelter of a tree. And we see the creeper will grow around that tree. Tahanse kalpa vrikkara koreye sevan, suke prima phala rasa kore ashvadan. There the devotee serves the lotus feet of the Krishna. There the devotee serves the lotus feet of the Lord, which are compared to a wish-fulfilling tree. With great bliss, one tastes the juice of the fruit of love and becomes eternally happy. Eta parama phal parama purushartha, jara age trinatuya chare purushartha. To taste the fruit of devotional service in Goloka Vrindaban is the highest perfection of life, and in the presence of such perfection, the four material perfections, religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, are very insignificant achievements. Rida Siddhi Braja Vijayita Satyadharma Samadhir Brahma Nando Gurur Api Shamat Karayati Evatavat Yavat Premnam Madhuripu Vashikara Siddho Sarinam Gandopi Anta Karana Sarani Pandatamna Prayati. As long as there is not the slightest fragrance of pure love of Krishna, which is the perfect medicinal herb for controlling Lord Krishna within the heart, the opulences of the material perfections known as the cities, the Brahminical perfections, Satya, Sama, Titiksha, and so on, the trance of the yogis and the monistic bliss of Brahman all seem wonderful for men. So as long as one doesn't even have the slightest fragrance of pure love of Krishna, then all these other things like some kinds of material perfections and the yogic perfections and knowledge and so many other things, they all seem very wonderful. But if there is even the slightest fragrance of love of Godhead, those things appear as very unimportant. Shuddha bhakti hoite hoy prema utpana ateva shuddha bhaktir kohaye lakan. When one is situated in pure devotional service, one develops love of Godhead. Therefore, let me describe some of the symptoms of pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukuyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. When first-class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy, and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. This verse is also found in Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. As one can understand from the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of God wants everyone to think of Him always. Manmana bhava mad bhakto. Everyone should become His devotee, not the devotee of a demigod. Everyone should engage in His devotional service, including archanam, deity worship in the temple. Manmana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskaru. Everyone should offer obeisances from moment to moment to the Supreme Lord. These are the desires of the Lord, and one who fulfills His desires favorably is actually a pure devotee. Krishna wants everyone to surrender unto Him, and devotional service means preaching this gospel all over the world. The Lord says openly in the Bhagavad Gita, Na cha tasman manusheshu kaschid kaschin me priyakritama. One who preaches the gospel of the Bhagavad Gita for the benefit of all is most dear to Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Lord so that human society can be perfectly organized from all angles of vision, politically, socially, economically, philosophically, and religiously. From any point of view, human society can be reformed by the Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, one who spreads this philosophy of Krishna consciousness for the benefit of all conditioned souls in this universe is perfect in pure devotional service. The criterion is that a devotee must know what Krishna wants him to do. This understanding can be achieved through the medium of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami advises Ado Guru Ashrayam. One who is serious in wanting to render pure devotional service to the Lord must take shelter of a spiritual master who comes in the disciplic succession from Krishna. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu. Without accepting a bona fide spiritual master coming in the disciplic succession, one cannot find out the real purpose of devotional service. Therefore, one has to accept the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and agree to be directed by him. The first business of a pure devotee is to satisfy his spiritual master, whose only business is to spread Krishna consciousness. And if one can satisfy the spiritual master, Krishna is automatically satisfied. Yasha prasada bhagavat prasada. This is the success of devotional service. This is the meaning of the word anukuyena. That is, favorable devotional service to the Lord. A pure devotee has no plans other than those for the Lord's service. One is not interested in attaining success in mundane activities. One simply wants success in the progress of devotional service. For a devotee, there cannot be worship of others or demigod worship. A pure devotee does not engage himself in such pseudo-devotional service. He is interested only in satisfying Krishna. If one lives only for the satisfaction of Krishna, it does not matter whether one belongs to this order of life or that order of life. One's only business should be to satisfy Krishna. This process is completely manifest in the activities of the Krishna consciousness movement. It has been actually proved that the entire world cannot It has been actually proved that the entire world can accept devotional service without failure. One simply has to follow the instructions of the representative of Krishna. Anya Bansha, Anya Puja, Chari, Jnana Karma, Anukuye, Sarvendriye, Krishna Nushilanam. A pure devotee must not cherish any desire other than to serve Krishna. He should not offer worship to the demigods or to mundane personalities. He should not cultivate artificial knowledge, which is devoid of Krishna consciousness. And he should not engage himself in anything other than Krishna conscious activities. One must engage all one's purified senses in the service of the Lord. This is the favorable execution of Krishna consciousness activities. So this previous verse, Sanyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dyanavritam anukuyena krishnanu shilanam bhakti rutama. Well, the first thing is that one should reject the desire for karma and jnana. These are considered as negative waves. And anukuyena krishnanu shilanam. Then one should only have the desire to satisfy Krishna. That's the purpose of devotional service. Not contaminated by karma, not contaminated by jnana, but anukuyena krishnanu shilanam. The only desire is for one to satisfy Krishna. And Bhakti Rutama, that is considered the highest stage of devotion. Eshuddha Bhakti iha hoite prema hoy, pancharatre bhagavate elakana koi. These activities are called Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. If one renders such pure devotional service, one develops one's original love for Krishna in due course of time. In Vedic literatures like the Pancharatras and Srimad Bhagavatam, these symptoms are described. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchate. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all one's senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So, Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparat vena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchate. Madguna shruti matrena mai sarva guhashaye manogatir avichina yata gamba sombudo. Madguna shruti matrena mai sarva guhashaye manogatir avichina yata gangamba sombudo. Just as the celestial waters of the Ganges flow unobstructed into the ocean, so when my devotees simply hear of me, their minds come to me. I reside in the hearts of all. Lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya I udaratam ahaituki avyavahita ya bhakti purushottame. These are the characteristics of transcendental loving service to Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is causeless and it cannot be obstructed in any way. Salokya sharstis samipya sarupyai katvam apiyuta diyamanam nagrinanti vinamat sevanam jana. My devotees do not accept salokya, sharsti, sarupya, samipya, or oneness with me, even if I offer these liberations in preference to serving me. A devotee has no desire for liberation. One is only interested in serving the Lord. No material or so-called spiritual benefit. The devotee only wants the service of the Lord. Sa eva bhakta yogakya adyantika udarita yena tiv vajra trigunam madbhava yopapadyate. Bhakti yoga, as described above, is the ultimate goal of life. By rendering devotional service to the Lord, one transcends the modes of material nature and attains a spiritual position on the platform of direct devotional service. Bhukti mukti aribansha jari mane hoy sarana korulye prema utpanana hoy. If one is infected with the desire for material enjoyment or material liberation, one cannot rise to the platform of pure loving service unto the Lord, even though one may superficially render devotional service according to the routine regulative principles. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions that if one maintains within one's heart the desire to enjoy the result of good work, or being embarrassed by the material world, the desire to get out of material entanglement, one will never be able to attain the transcendental mellows of devotional service. In other words, one must not desire material profit when rendering devotional service. Even if one follows all the 64 regulative principles, one cannot attain pure devotional service with a contaminated heart. Bhukti mukti spriya yavat pisachi ridi vartate tavad bhakti sukashyatra katam abhyudayo bhavet. The material desire to enjoy the material world and the desire to become liberated from material bondage are considered to be two witches, and they haunt one like ghosts. As long as these witches remain within the heart, how can one feel transcendental bliss? As long as these two witches remain in the heart, there is no possibility of enjoying the transcendental bliss of devotional service. These two witches which haunt one's heart are the material desire to enjoy this world and the desire to become liberated from material bondage. Desire for enjoyment and the desire for liberation. Sadhana bhakti hoite hoi, ratira udai, rati gara hoile tara prema namakoi. By regularly rendering devotional service, one gradually becomes attached to the Supreme Lord. When that attachment is intensified, it becomes love of Godhead. So I'm going to stop here at this point, and tomorrow I'll continue. Okay? These are the teachings to Srila Rupa Goswami. And
So those are all Mahaprabhu's speaking as these verses.
yes, as I said, the verses like Brahmanda Ramite Kona Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Bij have verses from the Chaitanya Charitamrita himself. It's in Bengali. Then there are many of the verses which are quoted to explain or substantiate different statements of the Lord. Those verses are given in Sanskrit from the scriptures. But many of these verses are to Rupa Goswami are instructions given by the Lord in the Bengali language, Lord's own words.
Why is it that we hear that we only got the 8 verses of Shikshashtakam? Those are the only 8 verses that he gave.
Well, there are other verses actually quoted in different places, but those are the principal, most essential verses given by Mahaprabhu. Other verses, other teachings, he's expanded through his those who he has instructed by the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami, the teachings of Srila Sanatan Goswami, of Jiva Goswami, and other persons who the Lord has instructed how to compile Shastra, and they become Shastra gurus. So they have written many, many books, but the Lord's showing more by his example, and he's acting in this as a position. He's acting more in the position of a devotee, of tasting and showing what are the activities of the Acharya. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Garanara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Echan Kori Charana Bandhan. Jai Te Vignana Shabista Puran. Jai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas. Asabar Padarenu Mora Panchagas. Pader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanemas. Janame Janame More Abhilas. Hey Jai Gosai Jabe Baje Koilabas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakas. Hey Jai Gosai Jabe Baje Koilabas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakas. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Padma Koriyan. Hare Nam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamodar. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharbika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakshira Dev Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishordas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Namachar Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadash Shri Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagwat ki jai. Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavarenya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Sri Navadip Dham ki jai. Sri Ram Mayapur ki jai. Saparshada Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Saparshada Sri Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Koladvip ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki jai. Ganga Devi ki jai. Tulasi Maharani ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Vrindaban Dham ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj